Hello, everybody, and welcome to Active Reload, episode 48. I'll be honest with you, not a whole lot of news going on in the world of video games right now.
What are you talking about?
We got some big stuff in Call of Duty. They're rolling out their teaser packages and whatnot that they always do this time of year for their next iteration of whatever they're going to end up playing or whatever they're releasing. And then Star Citizen, they hit a milestone. $700 million raised from their Kickstarter campaign, even though I don't think they're technically on Kickstarter anymore. It's a lot through their website. Regardless, we'll talk about all of it, and we'll talk about games coming up and what we're playing. Welcome to the show.
Nice.
Call of Duty, ever heard of it? It's pretty big. It's coming out again this year. This time it's actually a new game.
Yeah,
new
finally.
Developers.
Wait, new developers? What are you talking about?
Quote, not...
Is it Treyarch?
Not, yeah, from Treyarch, but I mean like new developers from the last time that they did anything. So they're coming out with a new game. It's called Black Ops 6. We skipped over 5. No reason to have Black Ops 5, I guess.
I guess they consider Cold War Black Ops 5.
But it's not called that. It's called
kidding.
Black Ops Cold War.
You're right.
So skipped right to 6, whatever, no big deal. They've been releasing out their teasers and whatnot. I really like Treyarch's version, especially when they're doing the Black Ops stuff, of their teasers. I think they're really fun and they're really interesting.
Yeah. Do you remember it was the Yuri Bezimov
What'd you call me?
Defector?
Yeah.
Doing the 4 stages of communist takeover, basically.
Right.
That was really,
cool.
really cool.
And they did something similar this time with their live action teaser that they just released. It's I love that they do this, but they put Bill Clinton in and he's animated and everything. I don't know. They probably didn't get his voice, obviously, but it's Bill Clinton animated. You got Margaret Thatcher. They definitely didn't get her voice because she's long since dead. And there was one of the former dictator of Iraq that I'm trying to not say the name of.
Yeah.
That will get us flagged on YouTube, but you know who I'm talking about.
Thanks.
You know who I'm talking about. They're all talking to the camera and talking about how everything we know is a lie and everything like that. And it is confirmed that that former dictator of Iraq is the main antagonist of this video game. So we're going to be able to final mission, slide cancel into his mansion, you know, and take him out.
Take out all his...
I don't know what the main...
His bodyguards, which are women.
Right, yeah. And then find all the action movies and...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Drugs
That's right.
that they found.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Way to bring me back. Oh, the good
What a time to be alive.
What a great war that was.
What a time to be alive.
Now, did they confirm the characters? Like, all those characters, Mason and
in one of the teasers...
Victor Reznov, possibly?
No, Reznov is dead.
I know, but he's inside of Mason's head
but
a lot.
Yeah, but he's dead. Well, yeah, right. They are teasing... In one of the teasers that they put out, they showed like a bunch of like 90s commercials and whatnot and like 90s newsreels and things.
Okay.
And one of them was for Frank's Woods new episode.
Cool.
You know, blank. So that's, they're pretty easily teasing that Frank Woods is going to be back. Interesting enough, something I'm curious about is the original voice actor for Frank Woods was in Black Ops 1 through 3, I guess, even though he's not a titular character in 3 or 4. He didn't come back, or he wasn't asked to come back for Cold War. So it's a different voice actor in Cold War. I'm curious if they're going to bring back the original voice actor for Black Ops 6.
Oh, the guy has an iconic voice.
I know. I can't believe they changed that. One of the things I didn't like about Cold War is...
I know. I actually downloaded Cold War last night. I'll talk about when games we're playing, but I went on a Call of Duty bender for sure.
Oh, a little COD bender.
I seem to do that every year.
I do that too. I'm in the same boat.
It's a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of like how things used to be better or for worse.
You're describing
like
nostalgia.
X Defiant.
We'll get to
you're
that
like, wow,
later.
this game is like a good Black Ops game. Then you go play Black Ops 2 and you're like, actually, that game's a terrible Black Ops game.
Which is sad because like the best version of Black Ops was probably Black Ops 2, depending on who you ask.
I like the campaign.
And that was 10 years ago, maybe more now. 12 years ago.
Oh man, I had a list of all the Call of Duty titles by year because I actually kind of forgot when World War II came out and what happened in between World War II and Vanguard.
That was what after World War II came out was Infinite Warfare.
No, Infinite Warfare was before World War II.
Oh, it was?
Yeah. Because
because then they were like, we need to go back.
Yeah, boots on the ground, then the old
backwards.
school.
Right, yeah, that's right. God, that's weird.
Yeah, I get confused with though. That's not a great time. Although World War II was actually,
I like World War II.
The multiplayer was really good. Do you remember the headquarters? It was like a Destiny.
Yeah.
South home. What is it called?
Home base. I guess.
Home base of some sort.
Yeah.
And there were 1v1s that you can watch.
You could queue up and whatever.
Yeah.
And then you can go to a little target practice range and shoot targets and stuff. Get high scores.
They never went back to that.
Yeah, they got rid of it. I like that part of it.
That was my favorite part of the game.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I forgot about that.
My friends and I, we used to just play that. We'd watch each other do 1v1s versus randoms.
Yeah.
And the winner goes on.
And that used to work as like their main their multiplayer menu too. That was cool. I don't know why they got rid of it.
It's like a launch.
It probably cost a lot, obviously, but who cares?
Maybe with all the DLC they have to add.
What are you doing?
Like, we can't change this guy's costume 20 times in a row.
Exactly.
Live. So
I like that game. I don't think it gets a pretty bad rap when it comes to like competitive multiplayer, which, whatever. But I think
the time to kill
overall,
is extremely fast.
Yeah, I think overall it was still a pretty fun game, and I'm a sucker for World War II shooters.
Yeah, me too. I'll talk about it when we talk. I'll talk about it.
So yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 6. It is coming out. They don't have an official date, but there is an expansive reveal or whatever that's coming up June 9th, which is the Xbox Game Showcase. There is rumored to be, now confirmed that Call of Duty was going to be there. There's also rumors that the next Doom game is going to be shown there, and then another one that I can't remember the name of. Doom, yeah.
Wow.
Next Doom game.
I wish that next Doom game was Quake.
I wish the next Doom game was Wolfenstein.
Or Wolfenstein, yeah.
And then there's something else that's going to be revealed there, according to rumors.
Okay.
That I can't remember, but another big Xbox title that's going to be revealed at that showcase. So we get Call of Duty, and it happens every year. This is the cycle.
Well, this year, Game Pass day one.
It is
now
Game Pass.
A Microsoft product.
That's big. That's huge. That's gonna sway. Maybe it might sway some people.
Here's the funny thing about Xbox. I'm gonna make this a little freeform. I love Xbox. Don't you?
Same.
But I can tell
like
that
we work for Xbox.
I don't think that they are doing well. I mean, hold on.
Okay.
I don't think they're making the greatest decisions
financially
with their teams,
right?
With what they want to put out.
We'll get to Hellblade here in a second.
Yeah,
here in a minute.
But I still don't know. I still prefer to play on Xbox.
Same. Yeah, and I think there's like a lot of quality of life things that Xbox has that are better.
The backwards compatibility.
Yeah.
The backwards compatibility is just
so much better. I played 2 backwards compatible games just past week. So that's so much nicer. I think a lot of the stuff, like the party interface, is so much nicer. Like a lot of that.
The
stuff
interface
is a lot
with
nicer.
Discord is nicer.
Yeah, like so that quality of life stuff, I think, is not something we really think about when we're like in the moment because you're just so used to doing it. But when you switch over, and there are plenty of things that PlayStation also does well. But I do think when it comes to quality of life stuff, Xbox is just better.
I think PlayStation does their exclusives better, but
absolutely.
Not lately.
Yeah. It's been Spider-Man 2 was good.
It was a lot like Spider-Man 1.
Yeah, it wasn't that different.
And then Last of Us 2, it came out on PS4.
I was going to say, that's been forever, though. It's been a while. Ragnarok and Spider-Man 2 are probably the most recent.
Basically, all their exclusives that are on PS5 were hamstrung by their PS4 counterpart,
by the way,
God of War.
Speaking of, we want to go back last week really quickly.
What's up?
Touch on something last week.
Yeah, let's do it.
College football, EA Sports College Football.
Yeah, what happened?
Only next gen.
Good. Thank God.
They're not releasing it on previous gens.
What about Madden? Would Madden do the same?
I don't know. I think they're probably testing the waters. Well, it's probably too early, but maybe testing the waters for like Madden 26 or whatever.
You know what? I like that. That's good news because I like the fact that NCAA is testing waters.
Yeah.
Give me tingles.
It makes sense. I mean, if they're going to do it with any single game, because they know, I think they also know that game is going to sell consoles because so many people have not gone back and played or have not really played anything since the last NCAA football game.
We have to remind ourselves all the time that most gamers probably play a couple games, and a lot of gamers are only gamers because they play Madden or college
sports
football
games, right.
or baseball or racing or something.
My dad's like that. That's what my dad is. My dad is
Yeah.
like, he's playing MLB. He updates himself on MLB games pretty frequently, but he has like a FIFA game that's from like FIFA 15.
Yeah.
He still plays that.
I mean, my brother is the same way. He's like, hey, he plays a lot of video games, but he plays Overwatch.
Right. That's it.
Plays competitive, like a few competitive games every decade.
Mm-hmm. And that's like the majority, I think. I think we like kind of forget that is the majority of people that play video games are casual.
Not like me. Like I probably played 10 games this week.
Yeah, that's how I played a ton of video games this week. I didn't do anything. It was a long weekend. You know what I did all weekend? I played video games. That's all I did. And it was awesome. There's nothing I wanted more to do.
I drank some beer. Beer, man.
You know what I did? I watched Dune 1 and 2 again.
Back to back?
Yes. Well, not back to back. I did one on Saturday and then one on Sunday. God, they're so good.
What a pathetic loser you are.
So yeah, Call of Duty season. It's the same cycle every year. We hit about May, and they're like, "Hey, guess what? New Call of Duty coming." I don't know why it surprises everybody too. It catches everybody by surprise.
Well, you know what? It's kind of. I'm not a huge Call of Duty hater. I do think a lot of their games are bad and don't not bad. Sorry,
Yeah.
So I take that back. Disappointing, underwhelming. A lot of their games are, but I would say a lot of their games are surprising, and some of them are really, really good. Some of my favorite games ever. And so the anticipation of the next announcement every year, even though it happens every year, I still get excited for it.
Same. I'm in the same boat.
I remember when Modern Warfare, the remake, I guess you would call it,
not the remaster, the remake,
not the remaster, the remake, the one that we're currently in that kind of
the trilogy.
I remember when that came out, I was really excited.
Yeah, same. That was I think that's the last one where actually, World War II, I was pretty, because I wanted to have like a next gen
on the ground.
Yeah, well, and a next gen version of a World War II game, and then Modern Warfare looked really cool, especially with their trailers. They marketed that game really well. But I also think anytime Treyarch is coming out with a Call of Duty game, I'm always more on board than when like Ravensoft does one or Infinity Ward, to be honest with you, because I think Treyarch does a really good job with not just the multiplayer, but I think the other sections of it, whether it be Warzone or
they have competitive modes,
but their zombies is also the epitome.
I like their ranked stuff. Now, I have a kind of a strong opinion about that. I think Treyarch makes right now the best campaigns.
Yeah,
but I think they have the worst servers. I know they all share the same servers, but the worst like hit detection and stuff like that.
Okay.
Sledgehammer Games makes the worst Call of Duty games, but I think that they have their hit detection perfect. And then Infinity Ward's all over the place because a lot of people have come and gone.
Very hit or miss. Like the remake of Modern Warfare. Obviously, we just talked about that. Very good. That was an Infinity Ward game. And then after that, Modern Warfare 2. Man, I'm mixing so much of them up. I can't remember. Modern Warfare 2, I think, was... And not the new Modern Warfare 2 was also kind of underwhelming, to be honest with you.
Yo, definitely.
It wasn't as good as the one that came out in
the Warzone was definitely not as good.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is, too, we have to keep an eye on how it all transfers now because of Warzone, because that's the free-to-play that's the moneymaker for them, really. Yeah,
and do you think when it comes to Game Pass, it's going to be 241 gigabytes like Black Ops Cold War is?
No, they don't. Yeah, I know. That one is really bad. That one's terrible in terms of optimization.
I turned off HD textures, and it was like 40 gigs of HD textures. I don't know any game that has that.
Yeah, what are you high definitioning? That's 40 gigabytes.
I honestly couldn't tell the difference.
The good thing is, the one thing I will say is it is nice that you can take off, take off the multiplayer if you're not going to play it, if you're like downloading Cold War
and zombies
campaign, or zombies or whatever. That's nice, but like it still should be better optimized than it is. It's absurd how big that game is. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, one of the most beautiful games I've ever played in my entire life.
Yeah,
runs at 30, whatever. But just in terms of the world detail and everything like that, it's
you could take a screenshot and it could look pretty,
But it's like 120 gigs less than...
I know.
It doesn't make any sense to me. That's insane.
I think that maybe because there's so many like different assets and skins, I guess. And I don't know.
Licensing stuff, maybe? I don't know.
No, we know what it is. It's not...
It's them taking our data?
No, not that.
Okay.
That data is elsewhere.
Yeah,
no,
true.
I think they're just not compressing anything.
Right.
I think they just get it out there.
And then they put the HD texture pack in there, and it's 40 gigs.
Ridiculous. I couldn't tell. And there's in Cold War, there are probably 10 to 20 gigs of ray tracing data.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like ray tracing data?
Yeah.
I turned that off. Also didn't notice a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell when ray tracing's on.
Yeah.
You can. It's
But there's
easy,
no difference when you turn it off.
but
Of that.
I couldn't see it in. And maybe it was in certain levels of the campaign, possibly, but that I haven't gotten to yet
I don't understand
or lately.
how that keeps happening. So
Whatever.
anyways, Black Ops
Call of
6
Duty.
coming soon. We'll see more June 9th, apparently. So get excited, I guess, if you want to. We'll see what happens.
This topic is a little.
Number 2, you and I disagree.
I don't really understand what you're disagreeing on. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so number 2, the topic I wanted to talk about, we both wanted to talk about, Star Citizen, the it's not much highly criticized, but maybe I don't know.
It's a controversial way
That's the word I'm talking
to
about.
produce a game for sure.
It has officially raised over $700 million.
$700 million.
$700 million. Not
For a
70,
video game.
Not $700 million. $700 million. It still has no release date. It started its Kickstarter. I think they closed down their Kickstarter page and went.
There's no way.
But they closed their Kickstarter page in
You'd have to.
2013.
Oh yeah.
And then basically put it over to their website.
Yeah, so donations and
That's
stuff.
basically what it is.
They still have benchmarks that they have a
Yeah.
roadmap that I don't think they've really gone that far off of their roadmap. I know they haven't hit
Right.
their strides every single time, but they're not sitting on their butts. Every new update, I check
Right.
it out, and it's significant.
The problem that I have with it is they have taken the Kickstarter version of funding for anything
Yeah.
and turned it into a business plan.
Well, it's always been that way.
But no,
it's supposed to be.
It's not always been that way.
What did you
Especially
think
not
it-
with something like that. Because now
700
it's
million.
not in Kickstarter anymore. It's something completely separate on their own page. And there's like stuff in there, like you can buy a ship for $48,000.
Yeah.
Real dollars.
I know.
That doesn't make any sense to me. The fact that if that's the direction that we're going in, that terrifies me. Because you can't play both sides.
Oh, I think Star Citizen is an outlier for sure. There's nothing that's like this.
I don't disagree with you, but there's no reason to believe that somebody's not looking at what they're doing and being like, they raised $700
you're gonna
million.
fail. Well, here's the good thing about it is that if someone did want to replicate the Star Citizen success, is you're going to have to find the $700 million first.
Right.
So what I like about it is that Star Citizen has already made their money. Their only thing they need to worry about is their obligations to the people who've already bought the game.
Right. But that's the thing is I don't know at this point to me it's such and we're talking about from 13
12 years
before
ago.
that, yeah, to now the changes in the industry have been very big. And now it feels like to me they're still I don't know if I want to say asking for money because it's not what it feels like. It's more like a store. It's a storefront more than it is a video game to me because when you buy the things on the storefront changes for you depending on what you're buying.
Yeah.
And then you can use it in game. And the other thing is you can still find stuff in game, but because it's still technically pre-alpha, there are server wipes. And when there are server wipes for people that don't have the pre-purchase with real money, like if you buy a ship with in-game currency, it gets wiped.
Yeah.
But the people that used actual money, that stuff doesn't get wiped.
Well, you couldn't wipe that. That'd be a lawsuit.
But that's what happens. There's even more incentive to just push people to buying things. And at this point, I'm like,
but
they're so far in that it doesn't seem like they have any actual direction.
Here's the
anymore.
thing: they're not a evil corporation that is trying to trick you into spending money. They are giving what the backers. They're basically shareholders. They're giving them what they're asking for.
Yeah, but it's also.
No, I shouldn't say shareholders. That's a bad.
I mean, that's a little Freudian slip. I'll be honest with you. If you're borrowing $48,000, I should have a piece of the company at that point.
I mean, I guess you have the piece of the success, the potential success, I guess.
Hold on, let me take my piece of success and go and buy it.
Well, no, you go and play it.
mean?
Like, here's the thing. Like, you're like, oh, I want a city that I can travel in. They're like, well, reach this goal of 200 million and we'll put it in there. And then they reach it in a month. And you're like, okay, we're going to put it in there. Like, and people were like, yes.
Yeah.
And then they get to run around a city.
But what's the end point?
That's the biggest issue.
Right.
I mean, is the endpoint just forever beta? Forever alpha?
That's what I mean.
Who's that going to upset?
I don't, but
the backers are happy.
I mean, you're right about that, but
because they keep giving them more money.
But it's also like, why would they ever release the game in the first place? That's how they're making money.
Well, they mentioned that they're gearing towards 1.0 right now.
I don't believe them. I don't believe that at all. I think they're like, we're gearing towards it by asking for more money and more money and more money and more money until they make an absurd amount of money, and then they're going to keep going.
At one point, you have to draw the line. I think $700 million is drawing the line. The thing I like about this is that's
drawing the line.
I think it should at this point.
$600 million.
No, I don't. No, they've already made it. So, what are you going to tell someone to stop making money? And then it's like telling a charity to like, hey, you're bringing in too much money. Your people are too charitable.
But charity's way different than that. We're talking about somebody who's just making a video game. That's all it is. That's all they're doing.
Some people love this game.
Yeah, I understand that. And I don't think the game looks bad by any means.
Like, I want to live in Star Citizen.
I don't have any issue with how the game looks. But if you look at other games that were kickstarted, like Elite Dangerous was a game that was kickstarted from 2012 to 2014. And it's still operating today. You know, there is
not on PS4.
Yeah, I know, but it's still operating in game, like it's on PC. You can still play that game. In-game purchases are in the game. Didn't cost $700 million to make. Granted, it's a lot smaller. Fine, but the problem that I have with it is that they're just, to me, when I look at this, I'm like, they're just going to keep setting goals because they're making an exorbitant amount of money.
Yeah. Good. I hope they keep making more money.
That's weird for me.
Here's the thing that
because
they don't need to.
Then they're marketing it as like, hey, you can get in on this too if you spend $5,000.
But how? That's not really predatory. That's like hey, you want to join the party where everyone's having fun?
Not for $5,000. There's no party on planet Earth.
No normal person's paying $5,000 for a ship.
$700 million.
I get it. Who are you talking? I was talking about the players.
No, I know, but I'm saying they've made $700. You don't just get there from getting a bunch of $10 donations.
Yeah.
If you got a $10 or even $45 donation, which is like the base level, I think you can get in at. Yeah, 45 times 9 million is not $700 million.
Are you sure about that?
I'm positive. We can Google it right now.
Oh no, we can do it.
Calculate it.
Math.
45 times 9 million. It's not 700 million. I don't even know if you can get to it. Oh, you can. Okay.
405 million.
So you still got little over half of the amount that you need there.
Yeah, there's other people spending. I would say half the people were spending $90. And there you go.
Okay.
And there goes your money.
You could be right, but still. I don't know. There's it's just predatory things on there for me that make me feel uncomfortable.
Here's another thing is that we both don't play this game.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
I do know that I have some friends that play it and they love it.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, they reached this new stretch goal. I can't wait to play this. And then it finally comes out and they're, hey, I'm playing it. I love it. Even though there's glitches and there's funny glitches.
Oh,
It's almost like they've carved out their own little section of the video game world.
I also think they can kind of dodge. Cool. I think they can very successfully dodge a lot of responsibility because they can keep saying it's in pre-alpha. That helps them a lot because I think if they say, all right, it's officially released and it still doesn't play well, doesn't run very well, then they're like, oh, okay, well, it's pre-alpha. No big deal. They're working on it.
What if these guys... So Star Citizen became a thing because of Wing Commander.
Yeah.
The same guy that made Wing Commander back in the day, which is awesome.
Robin Roberts or whatever the heck his name is.
They're like, hey, you want to make a modern day Wing Commander? We're going to kickstart this game. And then all of a sudden, like, wow, 100 million people.
Yeah, that was 3 presidents ago.
But I don't know, man. I'm excited I like crowdfunded stuff. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. If you're spending money to play Star Citizen, whatever. Like, I don't have an issue with that necessarily. Yeah. Unless you're spending like over $5,000, then go see a therapist.
Now, if you have a giant publisher that wants to replicate this model and is now forcing their developers to do a Kickstarter campaign, and your success of your team is dependent on how much you can raise,
right?
Then that starts to get weird.
But that's what I mean. So, like, imagine if I'm trying to think a game or a studio/game that died recently. The guys that Xbox just closed that made the other game, the very popular game,
Tango.
Tango, yeah, them, and they wanted to make what was the game that came out
Hi-Fi
last
Rush?
year? Yes, and they were like, "Hey, we're Tango GameWorks, what used to be Tango GameWorks.
Yeah.
We want to make Hi-Fi Rush 2.
Yeah.
We need blank amount of money."
And they'll say, we don't want to be beholden to Microsoft
Right.
because they let us all go.
But we need blank amount of money.
We're going to set
but then
a
it just
goal
kept-
of $800,000.
and then it just went.
And it got to 700
And
million.
then they kept going, and then it kept going. You can still play Hi-Fi Rush 2. It's not out. It's not out officially. It's in pre-alpha.
Oh man.
Do you see what I mean, though? Isn't
No,
that
I still
weird?
think that's it is weird, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think there's
it's bad.
potential for abuse. I mean, of course there is, but I don't think.
It's Kickstarter. You know,
I don't
scams
know.
run through that?
It's kind of strange. It's not an industry standard, so
No,
it's
it's
not
not.
like you have any reference to anything.
Right, exactly. And I don't think it will become industry standard by any means. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think there are gateways following this model where we could see quote unquote studios just crop up out of nowhere. Like Mick Gordon and company from a bunch of other people got together and made their own studio. Recently, I can't remember what it's called, but they just announced it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, like literally, I think last week they announced that they announced new studios from people from like Respawn and Naughty Dog, like a bunch of people that aren't there anymore. But imagine that they were like, "Hey, first game, you know what we're gonna do? Crowdfund it."
I think it's not a bad idea.
I don't think it's a bad idea either until it gets to a certain
700
point.
million.
Until it hits a certain point, then you're like,
I still don't
What
think
are
it's
you
bad.
doing?
It's just if I back this game for $60 and I was
Yeah.
able to play constantly throughout this whole thing,
right.
I'd be like, man, I got my money worth.
I get that too, but I also do think that there is, for me, reason to believe that there's no reason for them to ever set a release date for this game because of how much money they're making off.
But what if they do, James?
Then I could be wrong. But then if we go back and that happens, and it just comes out, it's still buggy, it still doesn't it sits together very well.
Okay.
Then you're like, this is $700 million.
Here's the thing. If they release this game 1.0, right? And then a year later they announce this is Star Citizen 2 and we're looking for crowdfunding, I'd be like, get out of here with your crowdfunding. You made $700 million. You can't find a publisher?
Yeah.
Then I would have like a bit of a say to it, a bigger issue. But
Yeah, that's fair.
that's not happening. Yeah.
Not yet. Not yet.
I'm not one to be like, I'm weary of this happening because of the potential future abuse that can happen or future travesty.
Right.
I'm always like I'm always in the now.
Mm-hmm. That's what they said when they were selling OxyContin too. They said this helps pain. Nothing else bad can happen.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
I don't want it to become the standard, I guess, number one. Because again,
there's no way. That'd be funny.
But that's why that also kind of gets into the like extreme oversaturation of money that's being put into video games right now, which for the most part, it's usually developer funded. It's not crowdfunded. But if you're getting $700 million, like imagine if Bethesda...
$700 million, it's so ridiculous.
But that's what I mean. Like Bethesda was like, hey, we can make a really good Fallout game, but we need a little bit more than what the developers are actually putting in. So please crowdfund us.
Would you not like that?
No, I wouldn't like that. I'd be like,
So you were
make your own
purchased by,
game.
how much were they purchased for?
It wasn't $1 billion, was it? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was. It was in the
1.2
billions.
billion, something like that.
Yeah.
1.3 billion.
Maybe more.
But exactly, that would be. I'd be like, you guys go 1.3 billion. You can't make your own Fallout game now. What do you mean? You need crowdfunding.
But they're still like that's just to purchase the name
Right,
and
of
the
course.
company.
Right. But still, it's just like it rubs me the wrong way because I do think there are good games that come out of Kickstarter and are crowdfunded like that. And I don't have any issue with crowdfunding by any means. It's just the way that it's marketed, that Star Citizen is marketed as it's kind of a FOMO situation on hugely exorbitant prices.
I have more of an issue of an early access type of game. They're like, hey, this game is halfway built.
Arc.
Yeah.
Which it was forever.
And then you can buy this. Mm-hmm. It's eventually going to be updated until it comes out, but then it never does get updated. Right. But when it comes to crowdfunding, it's more like we're going to help you develop this game. I don't know how long it's going to take. There are some goals.
They don't know either.
I do think they've probably stretched out their goals too much, or they've
Right.
made too many.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. I don't know how they stitch it all together at this point. Like, there's no way. They still haven't released their
That'd be
single
funny.
player. They hired Gary Oldman and Mark Hamill to do like voice acting work for their single player campaign.
Yeah.
And I think that was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Squadron something?
Squadron 42.
Okay.
And that was like 6 or 7 years ago. One of them is going to die before that game comes out. It comes out, or the campaign comes out.
I hope it's not Gary Oldman. I love that guy.
I love Gary Oldman too. He's amazing. Victor Reznov. Whoa, weird tie back.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well,
So yeah, Star Citizen,
yo.
You know, are we the Star Citizens? No, because we don't play it. But maybe you are the Star Citizen. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens when that game actually comes. If that game ever actually comes out.
If it doesn't, and what we have, no, I mean, they're still working. There's a big team working on stuff.
Do you think they hit $1 billion?
I don't know. I never thought they were going to hit 700 million.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. They're closer to $1 billion than they probably are.
They're as
500 million.
profitable as like Rockstar right now. Because they've only profited.
They've never released a game.
But they've only profited. They haven't
But isn't that weird?
They haven't needed to give back money to anybody. They haven't needed to earn money with their product.
But they haven't
the product has
released
already
anything.
made the money, and they've released chunks of it.
Right. That's
It's
so
weird.
confusing to me.
I guess it is.
Whatever. Hey, Star Citizen, if you like it, whatever. No big deal to you.
If you like it, you're a loser.
Like, no, look, I don't
sure.
have anybody that's actually backing the game unless, like, a certain point, I'm like, all right, hold on. We got to stop. We got to
I
chill
would
out
love
a
to
little
have
here.
someone comment.
Absolutely. If you like
And
Star, hey, you
I
know
don't
what?
know. Tell us about how the thing goes.
Yeah. How the thing goes.
How your feelings are.
How do you
towards-
feel
How
about
much money
this?
have you put towards this
Yeah.
game, and do you like it?
I think it looks like it's a fun game to play, you know?
From the streamers that I watch, or like the YouTube guys that I watch, Jack Frags, he always seems like he's having the time of his life with that game. It looks like a fun social game to play.
But there's so, you know, hey, remember No Man's Sky?
Yeah, that
Was
was
$60.
yeah.
And now it's better than ever.
That game is that's a good comparison because it's a fraction of the budget, right?
Yeah.
And they
made it with like 7 people.
were crashing, and then they were like, "Well, we're going to keep going."
Yeah.
And then they made more money, and they got their money back, able to fund a sequel. Not a sequel, but a spiritual
next
successor,
game,
I
yeah.
guess.
But they didn't ask for, they weren't, hey, this is crowdfunded. They didn't do that.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, they were purchased. It was a Sony exclusive, and
Yeah.
Sony didn't like that. They didn't like the product, and so
Well,
they're
yeah.
like, "We no longer want you as an exclusive."
But then they just said, you know what, we're going to work hard. You know how
Yeah.
they made a lot of their money? A mobile game.
Who
Hello Games. They
Really?
made,
was it the like motorcycle game?
yes.
Yeah.
That game. That's how
Yeah.
they made most of their money.
It was almost kind of a rip off of Trials,
Yeah.
but it had its own little.
It was
unique
more,
flair.
yeah, like cartoonish. I can't
Yeah.
remember the name of that game, but yeah.
I can't remember either.
Motorcycle Jack or something like that. And Motorcycle Jack 2. Okay, so that's pretty much the news.
Yep.
Not a lot going on, we'll be honest with you. It's
Good
June.
topic. So
you know.
good job.
We'll talk about other stuff as it happens next week.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Games releasing this week. Lots of it's
notable.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
games releasing this week.
I messed it up. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
Games releasing this week. Big one on the 30th, which is the Friday? Thursday.
2 more days from here. So today's Tuesday.
F1 24 officially comes out. The next EA Sports F1 game.
Yep. We did talk about this a while because remember,
Yeah.
23 came to, or it was getting off of Game Pass or something like that.
Excited for this game. I don't know how. I haven't seen a whole lot about it, to be honest with you. It makes me a little bit concerned. It is an EA, and it's becoming a yearly annual release, and that's kind of, we know what that kind of turns into for a lot
Yeah.
of EA games, unfortunately.
But they seem to, take some risks.
yeah, we'll see.
The handling modeling has changed often
Yeah.
in the last 8 years.
It's changing again this year too, with a lot of physics apparently in the
Man,
handling
because
model.
last year was so good.
Yeah, I liked 23. I thought it was fun. I think they really. One thing I beg of them, I truly beg of them, is that they change the way they do their ranked model this year, because last year, or this year, it's going
Yeah.
into last year, 23. It was really odd how they set it up. They set it up as like 3 races that you could do that would change every week. And it got really old really quickly for me, where it was like you're racing the same 3
Oh, yeah.
tracks every week, or not every week, but that change every single week, but doing it, if you're racing 10 times in in a week. That's 3 of the same tracks 10 times over, and that gets really old pretty quickly. So I hope they change that. They need to really fix, and this is EA, and they do I think a better job of doing like matchmaking stuff just in terms of ease. And F1 still has not hit that yet. They still have some really weird ways that they do matchmaking, so I'm hoping they fix that part of it.
Everybody needs to do the Grand Theft Auto 7 route where
7.
Yeah, not Grand Theft Auto. Gran Turismo 7.
I was like, whoa,
where if
10 years in the future.
If you bump into somebody, you go down. If someone bumps into you, you go down. If there's any bumping going on, your rating goes down.
I see what you're saying.
So it was like a grind to get to the A class, which for ethics or whatever.
Yeah.
There's like skill
safety
and
rating
like
or whatever.
ethics or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
It's not called ethics, but you know what I mean. And it was a grind to get there, and I had to lose a lot on purpose because I was trying to avoid people who drove like crazy. And once I got there, it was worth it. I was like, wow, actual racing now.
Yeah. They should. F1 should do something similar like that because it's really easy to get into like a safety rating, and then you still got people driving the wrong way or whatever.
Yeah, it was a madhouse.
Yeah,
but I regret moving my Xbox Series X to my desk because then I brought my steering wheel.
Oh yeah, your sim.
My sim setup. And since the force feedback is so strong, it shook the heck out of my Xbox. I noticed it. My tower, because it was leaning up, it was just going do.
Oh my
God!
God,
that ain't good.
Dangerous.
It'll scratch and kill the disc
most
too.
Dangerous game there. F124. We'll come back. I'll come back next week and talk more about that once it's out.
Yeah, I'll play it.
How I'm playing a little bit.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna play
next week. Also the 30th. I guess this week. This Thursday, whatever. MudRunner VR.
Yes.
Everybody clear out. Grant's got a lot to say.
MudRunner is the most realistic simulator ever.
Most realistic.
I've said that on this podcast.
We've got Construction Simulator 23,
not even close.
24 coming out this week.
No,
and you're saying MudRunner VR is going to be the most realistic simulator?
Oh, it already not
is.
The VR. I don't know, but MudRunner and SnowRunner and their new one, whatever it's called, I didn't play it. Yeah, they do
Gravel Runner.
I guess mud physics better than anybody.
Mud physics.
It's like getting stuck in mud and getting out of it is the most realistic thing on video games.
Dude, one of the more interesting dynamics I've seen develop over gaming, like over the last 10 years, is how much just random simulators have caught fire.
I know.
Like, people are like, I just got home from work. I'd like to do more work, please.
Well,
and do
I would say
simulator.
When MudRunner came out, which I think was also a Kickstarter game, it was called Spin Tires, a MudRunner game. And
it's a bad name.
Yeah, I know. Then it just turned into MudRunner.
Yeah, better name.
I think when it came out, it wasn't aiming to be a simulator, and then it just used a lot of tactics that you would see in Trucking Simulator and stuff like that into their game.
But I don't understand.
A lot of like gameplay elements, I should say.
I don't understand mud. Like, I don't
You've never been mudding before?
No, I'm like, man, this is just, it's dirty.
You're a good old Wyoming boy. You got to get down. You need to get into your Florida roots and go right to the swamp with your big old truck and get out of some mud.
Why?
It's so much fun.
What you just described, we do that here sometimes when it snows.
Yeah, I know.
It's just snowing and then you get stuck.
But then that's like you're gonna die if you don't get out soon. It's negative 30. We need to get to shelter.
I just thought the simulator stuff is so convenient. The construction simulator is coming out this week.
Okay, so this is not it's not a simulator game. It's a legitimate game where there are goals. It's just it's very realistic. And the goals are deliver this lumber from point A to point B. It's amazing. Just turn left, turn right, turn left, get out of the mud. Wench against some tree.
Dude, what?
And the best thing is you have to cross rivers, and that's very realistic. We're not even talking about the VR game.
Hairstyling simulator.
That looks great.
That's crazy.
The VR component, it does look a lot worse. First of all, MudRunner and SnowRunner, they look fantastic. The VR version doesn't look nearly as good. But it's going to be fun getting out of my truck and then tying the thing, a windshield tree, and then getting back in and then turning it and then, getting my Jack Burton impression going on.
You ever get stuck in real life? You're like, oh, This
Yeah.
is just like I've been training for.
You know what Jack Burton
I
says
have
in
no
times
idea
like
what
these?
that is or who that is.
Relax, everybody. I'm here.
Who's Jack Burton?
Um,
Help me.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that. I need to see that. There's a lot of
Jeez,
it's an
man.
80s action movie. I shouldn't have asked you. I should have just guessed.
Yeah, Kurt Russell.
Yeah, perfect. That's right. Yeah.
He's
Escape from New
basically
York,
doing
too.
his cowboy voice.
Right.
All right.
So MudRunner VR, that comes out on Thursday.
Oh, it's coming to it's not coming to PSVR too, which is
Oh,
hugely
really?
disappointing. Yeah. It's coming to Quest.
Wow. PSVR 2 already dead. That's crazy.
No, it's not.
Oh, sorry.
It's actually didn't do great, but it's
Of course not.
it's coming up because there's also this month, upcoming month, finally, PlayStation Plus is going to be
Right.
releasing a VR game.
VR has gone in reverse in
Couple
terms
VR
of
games.
or
Yeah.
not in reverse, but opposites in terms of how the console gaming is, where everything
Yeah.
is kind of veered towards console gaming.
Yeah.
VR, it's the opposite.
They've-
Everything kind of veers toward either meta or PC version of it.
Yeah, I mean, look at MudRunner VR. If you look at it, it doesn't look like a MudRunner game. It looks like a MetaQuest game.
Yeah.
But whatever.
MetaQuest.
I'm excited to play. I'm going to try it at least.
And we know that.
Yep.
You should just go get stuck somewhere.
I love it.
It's so weird.
I got a full wheel drive now. Finally.
Yeah, there you go. Destiny
All-wheel
2,
drive.
the final shape comes out this week too.
The final
well,
straw
the final shape, whatever.
to break the camel's back. That's for sure.
Yeah, June 4th. That's next week. That's next. I'm trying to do the math here. That's probably like next Wednesday or something like that. Let's probably talk about that a little bit next week.
Garrett and Wyatt, we're going to be jumping on this.
But I don't want to play this. I don't want to play this because Destiny should die.
No.
In my opinion, Destiny. It's time for it to
It's
go.
Bungie,
It's
man.
time to go.
He's got a tattoo with Bungie's game on
That's
it.
Halo. But yeah, that's what I want though. I want Bungie to get back into like good
Marathon, they're going to.
good story-driven games with the solid multiplayer. Destiny was never that for me. Never really was that for me.
I like their multiplayer now. 2 years ago, it was not good.
Yeah. I think there's some. I've never
Some
actually
would
done.
disagree.
You know, it's funny enough. I've never actually done a full-on raid. Is that what they're called? Right?
Yeah, there's raids and
Shadow Legend.
my boys.
That's a good YouTube joke.
I know.
But no, I've never done one of the raids or anything like that. Which but I've never also wanted to be honest with you.
They're really hard, and
Yeah,
there's strikes and raids, I think.
strikes are the ones that are pretty prominent.
Yeah.
So yeah, Destiny 2 Final Shape. I don't really have one of my favorite things that Destiny 2 did do. When Cade died, remember that?
Yeah.
there was like a huge uproar. There
Nathan
were like
Fillion.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion, who voices Cade. And Cade dies in one of the DLCs that I don't remember, and everybody was upset.
Is it
and then
Forsaken? I don't know.
that sounds right. And then they brought him back
Yeah.
because
yeah.
everybody was so mad.
I do like their commitment to the community. It's pretty.
Yeah, fair.
Pretty
Well, but I
big.
mean, after their commitment to the community now, because in Destiny 1 they didn't have it.
Yeah, no. That
They
wasn't.
bailed on that.
That was an Activision thing.
And now they're here. Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Destiny 2 the final. So this will be their last DLC, I think.
I hope it is.
I mean, the final shape sounds like it's going to be their last DLC. Hopefully. No offense.
And then there was
Hopefully.
Final Light or Light. Oh, I'm
yeah,
getting,
Light,
Getting them mixed up.
Right. Yeah, so many. I will say Bungie and Destiny in general, they know how to make their shooties. Like it's very fun to shoot things in Destiny, in this game, Destiny 2, all these games they're fun to shoot things. They've always done that very well, which to me is what makes it fun. But I could not have any less of an idea of what is happening in this video game in either of the Destiny games, which makes it hard for me to care what's going on. You know what I mean?
No.
In terms of like story.
Oh, yeah.
And like what's happening in the game. No idea.
I have
Literally
no idea.
idea.
You have to like read 5 novels outside of the game.
I'm not going to do
I
that.
really hate that.
I'm not going to do that. Shout out Peter Dinklage, though, by the way. Remember that?
I hate Dinklebot.
Dinklebot.
I mean, no, I love Dinklebot. I don't like.
Wait, what?
I liked Dinklebot.
You're in the extreme
That's No
minority.
Moon.
That's awful. It's so bad.
I might have said a Star Wars. Or maybe it's not. I don't know.
No, New Moon is Twilight.
No, that's No Moon. That's from Star Wars.
Oh,
he
yeah.
says something similar, like he's from the moon or something like that.
Yeah. It's
It was very dry, but now we have what's his face, a prominent voice actor. Can't remember his name.
Nathan Drake. Nolan North.
Yes, Nolan North.
Yeah.
He does it, but he does a really forced, annoying voice. Dinklebot, I like Dinklebot better. They just
Dinklebot was
completely
just-
erased him.
Yeah, but Dinklebot was just Peter Dinklage, and he was recording in like his home studio
Yeah.
from like 7 to 9 p.m.
Yeah. I heard that guy's not so great.
What? I like Peter Dinklage. He's awesome.
Have you met him?
Game of Thrones? Oh, man. He's so good.
I like Game of Thrones.
He's so good. in
This is
Game
the
of
last
Thrones.
good show I watched.
probably the-
Shogun was pretty good, but doesn't hold the candle.
He's probably... To Game of Thrones?
Not season 1 through 4. No.
Wow, really? Okay.
Nothing does. Maybe True Detective season 1. It was really good, but that's like a mini series.
Yeah.
It's almost like a long movie.
So Shogun.
yeah,
technically.
you're right.
Technically. That's how I prefer watching TV shows, to be honest. A miniseries.
Me too.
Like Chernobyl. Another
Yeah.
perfect one for me.
Never saw it.
Really? Oh, man. You got to watch Chernobyl. It's so good. I got a book that...
Is it like Stalker?
No, it's
video
like
game?
real, like what happened at Chernobyl.
Yeah, not interested.
Come on, that's so cool. I actually want to visit that. Not actually.
You want to visit Chernobyl?
I want to go to Pripyat. Yeah, that's one of my dream locations.
What is the famous Call of Duty line in Pripyat?
50,000 people used to live here. Now it's a ghost town.
Good job.
That's what it is. Yeah.
All right, what we're playing?
All right, let's get into what we're playing. Can I go first?
No. No.
Go ahead.
No, you
Sorry.
go first, buddy.
Okay. All right.
I have a lot more.
I'm going to end on one specifically because I'm going to talk about it the most.
Okay.
So I played Top Spin 2K25 a little bit, very bare bones, not a lot to it.
Was it exactly like I said? It's just chasing that Mario version of tennis?
It feels like this is going to be, and I hope this is what's going to happen. This is going to be their first game, and then they're going to make it a much more expansive 2K26 or something. Because it does feel like they're just, hey, this exists. Try it out. Do you like it? All right, cool. Then we'll make another one after this. That's kind of what it feels like. Because it's not like the mechanics aren't terrible or anything like that. It still does feel like a pretty solid tennis game. But just like the stuff that you would expect to see from a modern day sports game just aren't there. You can't play doubles with your friend.
That's ridiculous.
Can't play doubles with your friend. There's some other like
so
single player online stuff that's not really there that probably should be there. And they say they're going to update that and put it in future updates. But the fact that it wasn't there at the beginning is very odd to me. So... it's okay. It's not the greatest game in the world, but whatever. We move on. Mad Max, finished Mad Max. It's so good.
Did
God,
you?
that game was amazing.
Did you?
Rest in peace, Chum Bucket. So, spoiler alert.
You son of a gun!
I love you, Chum.
Wait a minute. I beat that game multiple times. I don't remember Chum Bucket dying.
Yeah, it's at the very end. Remember, he doesn't want to. So you have to ram the
through the gate.
Scrotus's.
Yeah.
That's a.
That's a great
sounded
final.
Weird. You have to ram his car off, and Chum Bucket doesn't want to leave the magnum opus, so you have to kill him. Rest in peace,
Yeah, that's true.
Chum Bucket.
Did you complete your magnum? Did you complete multiple magnum opuses?
Opus I?
What?
Magnum Opus I?
Yeah.
No.
Opus I.
I only did the one.
Yeah, I'm doing. Odin is playing this game and he loves it. So.
Great. It's an awesome game.
Yeah.
That's a dark game to play with your child.
You know what?
What are
I
you
kind of
doing?
like think about that often.
Yeah. Maybe get to the end and then like take it away from him because there's like a dark scene at the very end.
With the final battle when it's like in the storm.
Before that, when you have Hope and Glory
yes,
are the kids
I
and
remember.
they string up the woman and I'm like, good God, and they kill the kid.
Yeah.
It's dark. It's not for the faint of heart, but it also kind of has to tie into the movies a little bit, so it makes sense that they had to kill them off. But yeah, Mad Max is great. It's just one of the more underrated games ever.
Definitely. Definitely. Avalanche Studios. I couldn't remember that last week.
Yeah, that's right. X Defiant, played that a little bit. It's
that's what I want to talk
Wait,
about.
actually, hold on. We'll come back to this.
Okay,
Come
yeah,
back to this.
please.
I'm also playing Spec Ops: The Line because that game is perfect. Wanted to play that again.
Okay.
There's nothing better. One of the great third-person shooter story-driven games of all time.
Oh yeah.
If not the greatest.
If not the best story in video games.
Yeah,
like,
it's
slice
incredible.
of it, I guess. It's just a small story.
Yeah.
Great.
But it's so well told and very interesting and
In my opinion, my favorite Nolan North character.
yeah, that's a fair assessment. There's so many things too if you go back and play that game that you maybe missed the first time that you go back and play it again. You didn't realize like Conrad's face is on like a poster or something and you're like, whoa, am I losing it or is my character losing? What's going on?
Yeah.
So good.
And the way your team, you have two teammates that follow you and they start to question you, but they start to question everything. And then it's almost like incompetence or they're like, oh, this guy's being a wimp or something. You're like, wait a minute. Then you play the game, you finish it and you're like, well, he was
not a good person.
He was trying to help or he was not a good person.
Yeah. Or he was not. Depends on how you end it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a masterpiece. Fantastic.
Oh, very good. It's one of those games where it's not bare bones. It's it's Gears of War.
Yeah, it's very similar to third person.
A lot
cover
of
shooter.
chest high objects that you can hide behind.
Yes.
And set pieces that you can see from a mile away, but it's just
also
really good.
It's still very pretty. Like it still holds up pretty well.
Great
in terms of looks. Yeah, I can't recommend that game enough. It's
cool slow motion grenade kills. You ever notice that?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You're like, you throw a
What a
grenade
game.
and it lands in their cover and you're like, did it get him? And then it goes in slow mo and pieces go everywhere.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, that is a good game. Love it.
What else?
And then X Defiant.
Yes,
we can talk
that's
about
what
X
we want to
Defiant a
talk
little bit. It's okay. It's not it's a game that's trying to be Call of Duty, but it's not as good as Call of Duty.
Yep.
And that's usually not a recipe for success, to be honest with you. It is free to play, which will work out in their favor, obviously.
The servers are so terrible.
Yeah,
Remember
I think
what I
that's kind
said?
of
They have a hit on their hand. They just got to get their hit detection, everything down.
Mm-hmm.
It's beyond awful.
Bad name too. I can't get over how bad the name is. X Defiant. It's so stupid.
But I think the game is good. Like I played it a lot. I had fun.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of times, like depending on which game, it's like, wow, half of my shots are not registering.
Yeah.
And what do you do at that point? You're gonna that's a killer for me.
Yeah.
If I can't be trusted, if I can't trust the outcome of an engagement, then I'm not gonna have fun.
Play it. Yeah. Yeah, and that's understandable. I don't think I didn't play it very long, but from what I saw, there's like it feels like a mix of, in terms of like Call of Duty movement and the hit or the kill rate of almost Halo.
So I really like the time to kill. That's what I like most about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the abilities and how often they come up.
Yeah,
if you can play an entire team of Echelon where they use wall hacks,
right?
And you're like, okay, you can, and then you have this stupid design of a bar across the middle of the screen, top middle of the screen that says you are being detected, and it stays there for the entire time you're being detected. And if you're playing a whole team of them, you're detected the entire game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's bare bones. It's very bare bones. It's like clearly their first attempt at trying.
I just don't understand. I played this beta over a year ago.
Oh man, they're doing
almost
Star Citizen stuff
2 years ago, and it feels the exact same. Maybe a couple balance issues with the guns, but also the recoil on some of the guns are like the only gun I like to use is that single shot gun. I forgot, it's like a SCAR, I think.
Right.
But everything else, it feels like someone is pulling your barrel. It doesn't feel like a natural.
It's a lot more horizontal.
Very horizontal recoil, which is ridiculous for shooting an M4.
Yeah, I get that.
When you shoot an Uzi, I've shot one.
Nice, dude.
Hey, ATF, go ATF yourself.
Nice one. That won't get them on us.
Yeah. But it does go wild. But if you have something like on your shoulder, it's not going to go wild. Like, it's just stupid. I don't like the recoil patterns. It's not fun. I get that it's supposed to be bad, and then you're supposed to upgrade it with all these attachments, but the attachments are really slow to upgrade.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's
really
a ton
slow.
of them too, from what I saw. Yeah. Yeah, and the thing I just keep coming back to is it just feels like Call of Duty, but not as well fleshed out. And that's not a good recipe for success.
I will say I have
go ahead and play Call of Duty.
I have a theory. I think the reason why they canceled Heartland and a couple other ones.
Yeah, I don't remember the rest of them.
Is I think that they plan on using those multiplayer elements into X Defiant. I think X Defiant is going to be the home base of Ubisoft's multiplayer suite outside of Rainbow Six, maybe.
Right.
Because I think you're going to get in an extraction mode. You're going to get probably a battle royale mode because they canceled their battle royale game.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I mean, there's going to be a launching spot for Ubisoft's multiplayer suite. I think, this is my guess, but it's going to be terrible if they can't get that hit detection down and that server side problems down.
Yeah. Yeah, if they really are trying to copy the model of Call of Duty, that's what they're going to do. They're just going to do, here, this is going to be a battle royale. We'll put that in here as well.
Yep.
Mainly run out of X Defiant. Who cares?
Such a great name to base it all off
so
of.
dumb, man. Why? Just call it Defiant. Like, I don't know. Where's the X for?
Defiance
I don't understand.
has already been a game.
There's also been a movie, Daniel Craig. Look it up. Pretty
Really?
good. It's okay. It's not very good.
Well, and the final game you're playing.
Yeah, so I played Hellblade 2.
Me too.
I finished Hellblade 2.
Not me. Do not spoil
I'm not going to
anything.
spoil anything. My first reaction when I finished the game was, wow, I wish they didn't make this video game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bad. I think it's still a perfectly fine, okay game. It's probably it's still the best audio development that I've ever heard in my entire life playing a video game. Just from everything that's happening in both of your eardrums throughout this game is very both unsettling and kind of eye-opening, I guess. There are times when you'll hear stuff and you'll turn your character to the right because you thought it was another character talking, but it wasn't. It was just going on in your head. I think that's still very good. Like, there's nobody that does it better than them, than Ninja Theory, at creating that sort of atmosphere. But
I hear you with the why is this game made?
Right. With that being said, Hellblade 1 to me was a perfectly well fleshed out story that was very personal to a very specific character and a very specific story. And in the second one, they really lose that a little bit. It does not feel nearly as personal. You're kind of just more of a vessel for Senua in this one for whatever reason. It feels that way. And you're kind of just going on a trek with her, and she meets more people as you kind of go along, and they kind of become.
And they're obviously real.
Yeah, but that's the thing that I kind of run into.
He mentioned the fact that Hellblade 1, it's called Hellblade because you go to hell.
Right.
The Norse version of hell.
Right.
1L.
HEL.
And you battle
bunch of different
mythological creatures and gods. And it's really hard to tell whether if it's her psychosis or not.
So for those that don't know, she has psychosis and she's schizophrenic.
Yeah.
So she hears voices and hallucinates.
So in the second one, they travel to Iceland, a real place. There's history involved, like accurate history. There's characters you come across. Are they real?
Right.
I'm assuming yes.
Yes, it's heavily implied that they are real.
So it's like. It loses the mystique of the first one.
And that's the thing about the first one is because you were by yourself the entire story.
Yes, you're alone the entire time.
The only thing that is accompanying you is the
your
grief,
own mess up brain.
Yeah, the grief that you have for your lost husband, who you're trying to get back from hell, so you can restore his soul or whatever, because you're traveling with his head, and the visions and whatnot that you're having in your head. That is what is accompanying you. And there's still a lot of moments in this game that are still solo, like you're traveling by yourself, you're going off by yourself. But there are also moments where you're with other people in this game or other characters in this game. And when you do that, it makes it harder to tell. Like in the first one, you can kind of brush off a lot of the psychosis that she's having and a lot of the interactions she's having as hypnotic in nature, going through some sort of, schizophrenic breakdown or something like that. And, having these illusions or these hypnotic situations. And in the first one, they kind of base it feels like in a real world environment that makes it seem like she's just having these illusions because it's something that's been told to her through her time as she's grown up about the Nordic gods and whatnot and who these people are and what you're going to run into if you go to hell and whatnot. And in this game, it's different because now that you're tagging along with people who are actually seeing seemingly the same things that you are, it's hard to decipher whether you're actually having any sort of hypnotic illusions or if they're real. And that makes it a kind of convoluted and confusing story.
You know what? I agree. It's still, there is no other game like this.
No, and that's the thing is I love the visual and audio makeup at this game is better than anything Xbox has put out so far on their current consoles.
Like the graphics are fantastic.
It's amazing.
It would have been nice to have this developer do something new with the same technology.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would have preferred. Some different, newer story talking about something else.
But Microsoft bought them, being like, we want you to make a sequel to this game.
Yeah, and I think that was, in the long run, probably going to be a wrong move. I will forever recommend the first one. The second one, maybe not. I probably won't recommend
I do know that I'm only about a couple hours in, and I do know that the beginning of the first Hellblade was so much more engaging.
Yeah.
And I thought the voices in Senua's head in the second one, and at least in the beginning, especially when she's shimmying across the cliff.
Yeah.
It's like, don't slip. Oh, don't look down. Don't slip.
Yeah.
He says, yes, I'm aware of what I'm doing. You don't need to repeat what I'm doing. The viewers are already seeing what I'm doing, and I get that she's crazy.
Yeah.
So it makes the viewer crazy, but it wasn't as annoying the first time playing. There were moments of silence, for God's sake, at least in the first 2 hours.
I would say that is the thing that I actually like most about
That's
this game.
just
Is
ridiculous.
it's the only thing that feels like it's continuous from the first one. At the end of the first one, she kind of accepts who she is,
Yeah.
and like these voices are just a part of her. So now they're more vocal, and now she's paying attention to them more than she was before.
Also, one of the guys that was in her head in the first one, he's let go. They let him go, or she lets him go, and he's like, I'm off. Bye.
Yeah, she's
And
come
then-
to terms with it.
Yes. And then in the second one, he goes, I'm back.
He's back. Yeah, that's,
You're like, wait, huh?
that continues.
What? I thought you were gone.
Yeah, it's also a
Like,
different.
nope, psych.
It's also a different voice actor, which
Yeah,
sucks
I didn't
because
notice.
I like the first voice actor who plays that character.
Yeah.
in the first one is so good,
Yeah,
and
it
the
is.
second guy's really good as well. But he said the first guy has such an iconic voice that it's hard not to tell that it's a
Okay.
different person.
So I'm playing the same game. I won't talk about that. But
Yeah.
Can we move on to me?
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I played X Defiant. Felt the same way that everybody does.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I want to get some of that Call of Duty
I got that
style.
Call of Duty itch.
So I downloaded a bunch of Call of Duty games.
He's back.
Black Ops I played all of. I love Xbox because of all this stuff. You can't do
Same.
this on PS4.
True.
Started with Call of Duty 2. Played that a little bit of that campaign.
man.
I love that campaign.
I do too. I grew up with that. Campaign. It's one of my
The
favorites.
servers are still live for multiplayer. It's still
Yep.
people playing it.
That's very odd.
Very bare bones for sure.
Yeah.
And then we moved on to Black Ops 1. That
Okay.
game, the multiplayer game, I played the multiplayer of all of these. That game is, it's hurting really bad right now. A lot of hackers.
Right.
Black
okay.
Ops 2, better. More people playing that. I think the balance in Black Ops 2 is really good. I think
Yeah.
the maps are really good.
That's the best version of
And then,
multiplayer they've ever made, in my opinion.
yeah, probably. I love their competitive mode. Back in the day, it was so
Yeah.
good. I like how you can make your own icon. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
I still have mine.
Yeah.
I spent like 30 hours making mine, and everybody I come across back then, they go, "Oh, where'd you steal that from on the internet?" I'm like, "No, I made it myself."
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, right. Like, oh, dang it, no one even appreciates it.
You really, when you grew up when you were seeing those player IDs, you really, if you were younger, you really became aware of a lot of things
Yeah.
you probably didn't need to be aware
Yeah, it's true. I saw a lot of that too, by the way.
of. Of course, it's common.
And then I played Modern Warfare 3, which, believe it or not, out of all those old ones on 360, that has the most population.
Mm-hmm.
There was 10,000, almost 11,000 people playing Modern Warfare 3. And I thought at first, I was like, I bet a lot of these players
Yeah.
think that this is the new version. Because you could buy it on the Xbox Marketplace digitally, right? Just like the new modern one. And so I was playing it, and that's probably my least played game,
Right.
multiplayer wise. I played the campaign, I liked it. But I jumped in on the multiplayer, and I was like rank 11, which is real low.
Really?
Yes, I didn't play that game at all back in the day. And you know what? The time to kill is really high, and I remember hating that at first. The maps are really good. I like it. I like Modern Warfare 3. And obviously, a lot of people do because they're playing it more than Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, playing it more than Ghost, more than... I mean, what happened after Ghost? It's Advanced Warfighter. It's
Warfare.
Black Ops Advanced Warfare.
Yeah. Advanced
Sorry.
Warfighter's a Ghost
I
Recon.
know, Ghost Recon game. And then it goes Black Ops 3 and then Infinite Warfare. Played all those.
Yeah.
I think Black Ops 3 is the best jumping around,
Right.
flying
Okay.
around.
I gotcha. Jump around.
Jump around. And then I played World War II.
Mm-hmm.
I played all of them.
Man, you were on a
yeah,
spree.
it was. I downloaded it all on my PS5. I had downloaded my PS5, my Xbox, my PS4, all kinds of stuff. But I stuck with Modern Warfare 3. I like it.
Okay.
It's better than X Defiant.
I
That's for
can't
sure.
remember if Modern Warfare 2, the older ones, and COD 4 are backwards compatible.
Yeah, they are.
They are? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
You can play Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare backwards compatible, the 360 version, but it's filled with hackers.
Yeah.
It's best to play the remastered version.
I wonder if that's maybe why Modern Warfare 3 is probably getting a lot of viewership, I guess, or whatever, playership.
11,000.
Because 4, the original Modern Warfare 2, has been remastered well, and it's a good remaster.
It is.
And then Modern Warfare 2 is probably filled with a lot of hackers as well, I would
Lots of
imagine.
and the hackers kind of run rampant. In that game.
And so Modern Warfare 3 is maybe the last version of that they have.
Dude, I played Modern Warfare 2, OG Modern Warfare 2.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people using noob tubes like machine guns, and just lighting up the entire field.
It's also, that has a remaster too, but not multiplayer.
Not the multiplayer.
Remember, it's just
though.
campaign.
Yeah.
Fun fact,
The multiplayer has been remastered for this year's Call of Duty or last year's Call of Duty.
Whatever.
With the same map, same guns, everything.
For my 2 cents, Infinite Warfare, in terms of campaign, very underrated.
Yeah, I like
it's
it.
It's a very solid campaign.
Okay, so I'm going to bang these out real quick because we got to go.
Bang it.
Pause. System Shock. Playing the console version of System Shock. Oh my gosh, this game is amazing.
I almost bought that multiple times over this weekend.
Hard as nails. I'm
Okay.
telling you, because it gives you a chance to set your difficulty. Do you want your combat to be normal or easy? Set that thing to easy, dude.
Really? Is that hard? Okay. All right.
It's hard, and there are no... You have to set your own saves. There are moments where it'll auto save for you, but you're going to want to save
Set your own
scrub
saves.
because you're going to be like, I haven't been in this room. I don't have a lot of life.
Yeah.
What's the best way to do this? There are no hand holding in this game. It is wide open. Good luck. It's like, it's so mysterious and cool. And this is the first game I've played in a long time since the original BioShock where I listened to every single audio log. And you have to listen to them because they will tell you, like, to get through this door, this doesn't happen.
Very
to get through this tour, you need to hit, 1123.
Yeah.
And if you don't write that down, you're never going to remember that.
Yeah, they fixed that in BioShock where it comes up on like your screen or whatever.
And also, there are things in this game where walkthroughs don't help you because it's randomly generated. Good luck. This game is hard as nails, but the atmosphere is wow. Like it wows. And I love the graphics. Wow. It's very kind of old looking, but new looking at the same time. There's a hacking mode where you go into this VR and it turns into Forsaken, basically, if you've ever played that game on Nintendo 64 or PlayStation 1.
No. I was thinking of the game that came out recently.
What's his name? Or Night Dive actually remastered Forsaken. So they know how to do this mode, which is you're a floating guy and you shoot projectiles and you go up, down, left, right, turn. There's like 16 directions to go. It's really crazy and cool. And it's kind of scary.
Okay.
Shodan is one of the greatest villains of all time. She's awesome. There's one point where you finally set up all these bridges. You're like, oh, I can walk across. And she drops a bridge with you on it. And she goes, human, you are an insect. You don't belong here. And it's like, what?
She's the computer, right? The AI or whatever? Okay.
She's a rogue AI. It's cool. And then my son discovered he wanted to play open world military shooter. He said, do you have a game like Mad Max, but it's like military, like army? And I was like, thinking about it. I was like, yeah, Ghost Recon Wildlands. Now
I saw you on that.
So we were playing the heck out of that. That's Odin. He's been playing it constantly.
That's a comedy shooter.
And it was really yes, it's hilarious. You know what he does all the time? He waits till nighttime or he saves it at nighttime. And then once it's daytime, he reloads the save. And he just likes to hit the night vision and like creep on people and just crawl up to...
Man, he would love an open world Splinter Cell game.
Yeah, that's how he's playing it, basically. He actually got into a Sam Fisher mission.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
and it's way too hard, and he keeps trying it. Yeah, and I was like, dude, I can't even beat this level.
You gotta have him do the Predator mission because that's at night
gone.
too. No,
they removed it.
Rest in peace. Oh yeah, because that was supposed to come out like the same time as the movie. Yeah, the newer movie.
Terrible.
That wasn't good at all.
Yeah, and that's it.
That was an awesome Predator.
System Shock is I highly recommend it. I think you would like it.
Yeah,
if you like atmosphere.
Bought it multiple times this weekend. Went to the storefront.
I've been playing it on a mouse and keyboard because controller you can't change the sensitivity for your Y-axis. Which normal first-person shooters, your horizontal axis is more sensitive than your vertical.
Yeah.
and you have to pick things up off the ground all the time. There's so many things that you can interact with. I will walk to the same room I've been to a million times. I'm like, I could hit this button.
Yeah.
I had no idea I can hit this button. Or
that's fun.
I could change this. It's really cool.
Are you on a spaceship in that game?
Yeah, you're on a
spaceship.
You're
or
on a spaceship. You're on a prison prison spaceship, I think.
Gotcha.
You start out. You're a hacker that was caught doing things.
Dude, peak 19. When did that game come out? Originally 1990s.
1995, I think.
Yeah, that's how peak hackers can do whatever they want.
It came out right after Doom, and I remember playing it, and I remember being ridiculous. But now I love it. System Shock.
There it is.
Most people, when they think of System Shock, they think of System Shock 2, which was the Ken Levine version, where it's very Bioshocky and less. What is that sim thing called? I always forget it.
Sim thing? What do you mean?
There's a genre. It's like Prey. It's a genre of games. It's called something sim. I always forget it.
I have no idea.
Sorry.
Prey sim.
Yeah, so it's the best of that.
Okay.
I think it's really good.
System sim.
System Shock. Kind of scary.
Okay.
Odin was like interested. He was like, I want to play that game with that weird face on the cover. And I was like, all right. And then he started playing and he was like, is this a scary game?
I want to play Mad Max.
And I was like, you know what? It is just, I wouldn't call it a horror game, but it's so atmospheric that the sound design and everything, you can hear the weird zombie-like people and the machine-like people walking from far away. They're just
cool.
And a lot of the security guys are like saying numbers.
Man, we really thought computers and AI and whatnot were going to have a much bigger mental impact on us than I think we realized.
Yeah.
And the AI could change that pretty quickly, obviously. But right now, obviously,
Yeah.
You know what you can do? Just turn the off button.
Yeah.
How about that?
Pull the plug.
And guess what? We're going to pull the plug on this episode because time's up.
Yeah.
Wait, were you going to say anything else?
Nope.
I'm sorry.
That's it.
Okay.
I don't care.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to wrap things up here. Thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Remember to hit the subscribe button, as always. Follow the show on our podcasting platforms where we post there. If you can't watch the video, just go listen to it.
Yeah.
That easy. Go listen to it on the podcasting platform. Still
a lot of our people are listening right now.
Yeah. It's under Active Reload. Go check it out on all the popular podcasting platforms as well. So if you can't watch it on YouTube, go listen to it as well.
And we're closer to each other right now.
We're closer to each other. We're good friends. Look at us. Like I can tap his arm.
Yeah.
How about that? All right. We'll be back next week. We'll talk probably some F1 because I'll play that.
I'll probably play it too if it comes to Game Pass, which it usually does, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. I actually don't
eventually
think so. It will eventually. So we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Oh, wait. I need this.
NES and Genesis through gaming's golden phase. James brings the sports talk with youthful flair. Mixes up devs, but he's got heart to spare. From the latest news to games of the week, their banter's strong, their knowledge unique. Discussing what they're playing, from Halo to more. In every episode, there's always a score. Active Reload, a podcast ride, gaming news and fun in every ride. Grant and James in a lively show, from past to present, where gamers go. Console wars, young versus old. James with his Xbox, Brent with stories untold. Notable releases every week they share, from RPGs to sports with passion and care. From the latest news to games of the week, their banter's strong, their knowledge unique. Discussing what they're playing, from Halo to more. In every episode, there's always a score.